Okie dokie. Let's get going here. Right. Let's get everything sorted. Oh, we're with you again, dear ones. Time is being stretched out for you here, and we have heard some of you comment on how long it feels like you've been here already, and it's only Tuesday. So time is not real in the sense it's not a solid, consistent thing. As you change your mind, as you raise your frequency, as you expand your consciousness, time changes. Time is only here really for you to learn. Once you have learned what you need to learn, time is no longer necessary and you will not need to be bound within its constraints. So, for example, yogic masters are not bound within the rules of time and space that you believe are absolutes. They can be in two places at one time, they can time travel, they can do all sorts of things that your science says is not true. Although we will say quantum science does say that that's possible and true, whereas the science that you're taught in your school systems does not. So you've really sort of got two different kinds of education happening on your planet. But the truth is, time is used by the ego as a weapon, and time is used by the Holy Spirit for learning. So you can choose what you want to use it for. You can use it to drag out your suffering if you choose, or you can step above the battleground through these practices and see that time is elastic and you've got all the time in the world to do what you need to do. And this is a very, very good subject to discuss right now, because of the time as it relates to the body and aging of the body and your stage of life. So this subject is beginning to come up in internal dialogues with your own self. Why couldn't this happen when I was younger, for example? Or I don't have that much time left. I should be further along than I am. Look at these young people who are getting these experiences. I wish I was that age again, or whatever it is, whatever the story is. We want you to see that that's part of the battleground of the ego. It's associated with the body. Time and the physical deterioration that you believe you have to go through in your society is of the ego, and it's related to these ideas of death and decomposition and competition and the body. So as you continue your forgiveness practice, as you continue your reintegration practice, and part of your reintegration of your own mind practice is going to take place in the form of getting closer to people that you are drawn to in the physical material world. If you think of the ego in full power, it's separation, defensiveness, and attack, which keeps people away from you. When you think of becoming more loving, taking down your attacking and defensive mechanisms within your mind, that has to manifest in people coming closer to you. So this is a big challenge for many of your personalities. Personalities are the total demonstration of all the beliefs and ideas that you hold, and that would generally be an egoic construction. But you're getting messages from your spiritual self all the time. You're getting guidance, you're getting feelings. But your personality really is built upon many, many untruths, many, many beliefs and ideas that you believe. You've allowed them into your mind and you've acted as if they're true, and you are reinforcing them all the time. And as you shift your perspective towards the Holy Spirit's point of view and love's point of view in the Course teachings, this personality that you thought you were is going to shift and change. And that is a very, very big subject for each of you, because those shifts and changes in personalities impact every relationship and every priority and every value that you hold in this world. And this is one of the biggest challenges that those of you doing A Course in Miracles face, is this idea of your value system changing and those beings around you that reflect the old you. Remember, you fostered these relationships, you've made these relationships, you've set up the systems of schooling and food and home and banking and cars and all of these sorts of things based on the old you. But the new world is shifting and changing, and we are saying it's even going to change more. So there is a tension building in many of you that is quite significant, which is these people, places, and things want me to stay the same, and I am shifting quite rapidly now. So the personality, the person that you thought you were, is now morphing. And it's very, very important that the conditioning programs of your society around friendship, around loyalty, around marriage, around obligation, around sacrifice, around all these sorts of shoulds, that you begin to address these things, and that the exercise that Jesus asked you to do last night, which was about removing everyone from your interior landscape for a little exercise and going into this place and asking yourself, what does that solitary me want? This is a further iteration of that, where you are allowing yourself these small changes. And the nature of projection is that you will accuse other people of what you're doing. And so many of you will have stories in your mind that, oh, if I do this, my mother will say that. Or if I do this, my husband will say that. Or if I do this, my friends will say that. And the prison seems to be those beings outside of you. But what is in actual fact happening is that you are imprisoning yourself, and you were the prison keeper all along. It was not them. You made decisions based on your fears and your limitations and attracted people to you that reinforce those beliefs. You have to. You have to bring people into your life that reflect your limitations or your beliefs or your ideas, good, bad, and indifferent. You're going to have a mixture of beings around you that are going to reflect your consciousness. And this begins in your natal family. When you came in, you had a family that reflected the things that you needed to work on in this lifetime. Those were the assignments that you set yourself. So if you had a domineering father or if you had a controlling mother, those were the issues that you needed to look at in yourself. Your willingness to play the victim, the domineering father, the controlling mother, that was your tendency in this life, to work on that tendency to be a victim. And so you brought in domineering parents as your magnifying glass, so to speak. Now, your quote-unquote personality is built on many of these predicated ideas. And so as you go through these clarification processes and letting go of these beliefs and ideas, you are going to then have the person who represented that belief in your life. Now that relationship becomes unstable because you were doing a dance with them where, let's say, they were the bully and you were the victim. Now you're stepping up into your power. That relationship is no longer going to work because you're creating a different environment, a different mental environment that's going to create a different external environment. And so that relationship may have to either change or be walked away from in some way. So when you're going through these shifts and changes, your society's very, very powerful training about these ideas of obligation and loyalty, and this is what good friends do, and you should never abandon this kind of relationship, or you should never, ever not do this with your parents, or whatever it is, they are going to come up because you are going to realize, well, actually, I don't want to phone my mum today. I have no interest in it. It's boring to me, or that's not what's in my highest truth today. But that obligation may be there. You may have set up that pattern. So the first thing in those kinds of circumstances, and of course this happens with parents and children and work obligations and many, many different forms. So don't be stuck on the form. This can happen in many different types of relationships. What you want to start doing is, first of all, asking yourself, what do I think will happen when I say no? Because that's really the clue as to what belief you have been using to drive your activity of phoning that person all the time, let's say. So it looks like they will be the ones that are upset, but you have